A creature weighing less than a grain of rice navigates 2,000 miles without a map, without ever having made the journey before. Every autumn, something extraordinary unfolds across the North American continent, and yet most of us never pause to notice it happening just beyond our windows. Millions upon millions of monarch butterflies, delicate, paper-thin wings bearing patterns of orange and black, begin a pilgrimage so vast, so intricate, that it rivals any human feat of navigation and endurance. And here's what makes this story so quietly remarkable. Not a single butterfly alive today has ever completed this journey before. They're flying toward a destination their great-great-grandparents knew, but their own wings have never touched. Let's begin in late summer, around August, in the northern reaches of Canada and the northern United States. The days are still warm, but there's a subtle shift in the light, a lengthening of shadows, a coolness that arrives just after dawn. The monarchs that hatched in this season are different from their parents. While the spring and summer generations live only 4 to 6 weeks, these late summer monarchs will live 8 months or more. Their bodies are wired differently. Their instincts point them toward survival, not reproduction. By early September, these long-lived monarchs begin to feel a pull they cannot name. It's written into their genes, a compass they inherited from ancestors they'll never meet. The days grow shorter, and something in their tiny brains responds. They stop seeking mates. They stop laying eggs. Instead, they begin to gather, clustering together on trees and flowers as if preparing for something monumental. And they are. They're preparing to fly south, all the way to Mexico, to a place called Michoacán, where their species has wintered for thousands of years. Now imagine you're a monarch in early September, perched on a leaf somewhere in Ontario or Minnesota. You weigh about half a gram. Your wings span barely 4 inches, and ahead of you lies a journey of 2,000 miles, a distance that, relative to your body size, would be equivalent to a human walking around the Earth multiple times. What you don't know yet is that you'll need to cross the Great Lakes, navigate vast agricultural plains, avoid predators, find nectar sources you've never encountered before, and endure temperatures that will drop far below freezing. Mid-September arrives and the migration truly begins. Monarchs lift off from their summer grounds by the millions. Their wings beat in steady rhythm around 12 times per second, and they rise on thermals of warm air, spiraling upward until they're nearly invisible to the human eye. They fly during the day, when the sun warms their wings enough to generate lift. At night, they roost, clinging to trees and shrubs, conserving energy, waiting for dawn. This pattern will repeat itself thousands of times before they reach their destination. The first major obstacle arrives within days: the Great Lakes. These vast bodies of water stretch for hundreds of miles, and they are far too large to navigate around. So the monarchs do something that seems almost impossible. They fly straight across, trusting their internal compass even when there's nothing but water beneath them. Some make it. Others, exhausted or caught by unexpected storms, fall into the water and perish. These losses are staggering, yet the migration continues. Millions still press forward, driven by an instinct deeper than fear. By late September, survivors have crossed into the American Midwest. They're passing over fields of corn and soybean, landscapes transformed by human agriculture. Here they face new dangers. Many of these crops have been treated with herbicides that kill milkweed, the only plant that monarch caterpillars eat. Without milkweed, there's no food for the next generation, but these adult monarchs don't need to eat much. They survive on nectar from wildflowers, from asters and goldenrod, from any bloom they can find along the way. What these monarchs don't yet realize is that predators are waiting. Spiders spin their webs across the flight path. Birds, cardinals, jays, warblers pluck monarchs from the air. Some predators have learned that the bright orange wings are a warning. The monarchs are toxic, poisonous from the milkweed they ate as caterpillars. But not all predators have learned this lesson, and many monarchs die before reaching the next rest stop. The journey is not gentle. It's a gauntlet of survival. October brings a shift. The temperature drops noticeably, and the monarchs begin to move faster, more urgently. They're responding to changes in day length and temperature that their bodies sense instinctively. The further south they fly, the more they cluster together at night. Thousands gather in a single tree, hanging from branches in dense clusters, their wings overlapping, creating a kind of collective blanket that helps them survive the cold. These roosts are visible from the ground, dark masses clinging to oak trees and fir trees, looking almost like pine cones. By early November, the first monarchs are reaching Texas. They've traveled over 1,000 miles now, and they still have further to go. They're crossing into Mexico, where the air begins to feel different, warmer, more humid, heavy with the scent of pine forests and high-altitude meadows. They're being drawn toward a specific place, a place their ancestors have known for generations, though they themselves have never been there. The magnetic pull intensifies as they approach Michoacán, a region in central Mexico, where volcanic mountains rise above 10,000 feet. Late November arrives, and the monarchs reach their final destination, the Oyamel forests of Michoacán. These ancient forests are found nowhere else on Earth at this altitude and latitude. The trees are fir trees, towering and dense, creating a microclimate that's perfect for overwintering monarchs. The temperature here stays between 40 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit, cold enough to slow the butterflies' metabolism, warm enough to keep them alive. The humidity is high, which prevents their delicate bodies from drying out. It's as if the forest was designed specifically for them. The monarchs arrive in massive waves, sometimes numbering in the hundreds of millions. They cover the tree trunks and branches so densely that the bark is completely hidden beneath a layer of orange and black wings. The forests appear to transform into a living, breathing tapestry of color. Local residents and scientists who study these sites describe the site as almost beyond comprehension, an entire landscape that has come alive with wings. The sound is remarkable too. The gentle rustling of millions of wings creates a soft, whispering hum that fills the forest. Here in the Oyamel forests, the monarchs will wait. They'll spend the next 4 months in a state of dormancy, their bodies slowed, their energy conserved. They barely move, barely eat, barely drink. They're suspended in time, waiting for spring. And while they're waiting, they're completely unaware of what will happen next. They don't know that in February, as temperatures begin to rise, they'll feel the urge to move again. They don't know they'll fly north, seeking mates, seeking milkweed, where they can lay their eggs. February arrives and the cycle begins again. The monarchs wake. They mate in the forest canopy. Males and females pair for brief moments and then they separate. The females, now carrying eggs, begin their journey northward. They won't live to see their offspring reach Mexico. Their lifespans are only a few months, but their children will. The children born in spring will fly north, feed, reproduce, and their offspring will do the same. It takes 4 or 5 generations of monarchs to complete the cycle from Mexico to Canada and back again. The monarchs that return north in spring will find the milkweed beginning to emerge from the soil. They'll lay their eggs on the underside of leaves, tiny white orbs no bigger than a pinhead. Those eggs will hatch into caterpillars within days, and those caterpillars will eat voraciously, growing exponentially, shedding their skin multiple times. Then they'll form chrysalises, those beautiful jade-green pods, and within those chrysalises, something miraculous will happen. The caterpillar's body will dissolve almost entirely, and a butterfly will emerge. A butterfly that's never seen a parent, yet somehow knows where to fly. This is the monarch's pilgrimage. A journey that spans a continent, that defies logic and expectation, that repeats year after year with a precision that science is still working to understand. The monarchs don't have maps, don't have GPS, don't have any of the tools we assume are necessary for navigation. Yet they find their way, guided by magnetic fields, by the sun's position, by instincts encoded in their DNA over millions of years of evolution. It's a reminder that the world is far stranger and more wondrous than we often realize, and that sometimes the greatest journeys are the ones we never notice until we pause to look. The monarch's journey is a story of patience and persistence, of a creature so small that it seems impossible it could accomplish so much. It's a story that unfolds every single year, quietly, without fanfare, across the skies and fields and forests of North America. And if you listen carefully, if you pay attention to the world around you, you might catch a glimpse of it yourself. A flash of orange wings against a blue sky, a butterfly resting on a flower, part of a migration so vast and so beautiful that it reminds us why we need to protect these delicate travelers and the wild places they depend on. Subscribe for more journeys through nature's quiet wonders. Each week brings a new story of survival, migration, and the extraordinary lives unfolding just beyond our notice.